now and then, a politician unintentionally reveals who he really is and what he really believes.
I could teach anybody, even people in this room, so no offense intended, to be a farmer. It's a process. You dig a hole, you put a seed in, you put dirt on top, add water, up comes the corn. Then we had 300, you could learn that.
First, how much would you pay to see Bloomberg try to dig ditches for 8 hours a day, maybe run a bush hog or tend to livestock in the hot sun? I'd pay a lot of money personally. Now, second, what a snobby elitist comment that is. Now, farmers, as you might imagine, were not at all amused. They were lighting up Twitter. It was hilarious. But I have to say, to be fair, there's context to explain these comments from Bloomberg. Now, look at this headline in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel today. Bloomberg appears to be insulting farmers, but there's more to the story. Now, I have a question. Why don't conservatives ever get the same chance to explain our context? Because for us, there's never more to the story. They just jump to boycotts and total condemnation. Nevertheless, here's more of what Bloomberg did say.
You have 300 years of the industrial society. You put the piece of metal on the lathe, you turn the crank in the direction of the arrow, and you can have a job. The information economy is fundamentally different because it's built around replacing people with technology. You have to have a lot more gray matter.
A lot more gray matter? Oh, boy. Well, sure, of course, he's right about technology changing the type of work we do. That's not exactly a novel concept. But can you imagine if Donald Trump said anything approaching this? Now, the media who are rushing in to provide context to Bloomberg would proclaim that Trump was just insulting the intelligence of others. Anytime President Trump's team try to provide context after anything that people consider controversial, like Charlottesville, or after his comments about where the refugees we admit come from, they're just ignored. But it's not just the farmers that Bloomberg has no respect for. Remember that Texas church shooting in late December when an armed citizen, Jack Wilson, saved countless lives by shooting the killer dead? This was Bloomberg's takeaway lesson.
It's the job of law enforcement to have guns and to decide when to shoot. You just do not want the average citizen carrying a gun in a crowded place.
Yeah, they're too stupid to defend themselves or others through the use of a firearm that they carry. Says a man who has round-the-clock security and has had it for decades, by the way, all armed. And we all know what he thinks about overweight Americans. You're all just too thick to be able to control your own drink size and your intake.
The Board of Health's limit on the serving size of sugary drinks does not limit anyone's consumption. It just requires them to think about whether they really want more than 16 ounces. In a restaurant, 16 ounces is the maximum that they would be able to serve in one cup. We're not taking away anybody's right to do things. We're simply forcing you to understand that you have to make the conscious decision to go from one cup to another cup.
Forcing you to understand. Don't you think there'd probably be a lot of things he would force us to understand if he were president? Now, how does Bloomberg view people of faith? Well, he sent that message loud and clear when he was mayor of New York, at least on the 10th anniversary of September 11th. He included not a single faith leader in the list of speakers at that service. When he was called on it, this is what Mayor Snob said.
There is this separation of church and state in our Constitution. The Constitution
That doesn't
says,
mean that clergy shouldn't play a role here.
It shouldn't, but you can explain to me which clergy do you want? Your religion, my religion, her religion?
Okay, priest, rabbi, imam, minister. I mean, it pretty much covers it, doesn't it? He's just dripping with condescension. And remember, on the respect front, while we're talking about the respect front, now, women, when you think about the whole thing, women aren't really respected as women who can have different views in the Democrat Party. Because if they're pro-life, the entire party has driven pro-life women from their ranks. They've basically said as much. Women who are pro-life are not welcome. And Bloomberg's going to fit in just fine there. He's personally contributed, check this out, $14 million to Planned Parenthood from 2014 to 2017. Figure's probably up by now. $5.8 million to Women's Vote. That's Emily List's PAC. That's since 2012. And he headlined Emily's List 2018 New York City Convention. Now, remember, Emily's List claims that it's just for electing more women to Congress. You look at their little website, and that's what they say, 50,000 women. But, of course, what they really mean is more pro-abortion women to Congress. The party of inclusion is the opposite. It's more restrictive than it was 20 years ago in the Democrat Party. When you really think about this, and I thought about it a lot today, their big tent collapsed. And that tent has been replaced by a safe space for leftist victims only. Think about Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia. He's basically a walking Democrat stegosaurus. He's pro-gun and he's pro-life. Not going to be many more of him anytime soon. Imagine what AOC plus 3 say about someone like Manchin behind closed doors. Get out of here. Now, at the core of all of this, it's not just snobbery. It's snobbery. Yeah, it's that. But it's a deep and unwavering contempt for traditional American ideals. Because in this elitist view of sanctimonious snobs, the rights to life and to liberty, without which the pursuit of happiness is meaningless, are reserved only for those who truly deserve to have them. You have to think the right way to have them. And Bloomberg, he's kind of a miniature pony trotting a well-worn Democrat path there. From Hillary's deplorables to Obama's bitter clingers, the left loves to trash the common man while claiming to stand up for him. And their media allies, of course, they're all too happy to echo the hatred.
Let's stop calling Trump voters idiots and fools and call them what they are. Drug addicts.
Anybody who enables, anybody who votes for and supports a racist is a racist. You are culpable, white America. I'm sorry.
If you vote for Trump, you're the bad guy.
So you get the idea. If you're woke, you're in luck. If not, you'll be demeaned or driven out or just expunged. Now Mini Mike is singing from that same hymnal. And that's the angle.